Yo, what's up guys? So we're back with another video about virtual machines. What is a virtual machine? So virtual machines are software that acts as an emulator that mimics the functionality of a separate physical computer. So this is like iPhone or Android emulators. If you use those, they simulate what it's like to be in an iPhone or Android environment. So in virtual machines, the memory, processing power, and a lot of the other resources are drawn from the host machine. And this allows there to be many virtual machines on a single host machine. This is usually used to run different operating systems or OSs. And an operating system is the interface that you interact with as a user to open and see programs on a computer. So you might know this as Windows, Linux, Mac, and there are many more. So inside the virtual machines, there are different containers. So a container is a unit of software where application code is stored and packaged for the user to use it. So you could just think about this as where application files are stored. So here we have a diagram of how the relationship between the host operating system, the virtual machines, and the container looks like. So down here we have the host operating system. This is, for example, if you're on your own desktop or laptop, then you have your host operating system, and coming out from it are different containers. So these containers hold application files. Also, as a side note, the Docker is a operating system level virtualization that runs the applications from the packages. So as you can see, there's many apps contained in this operating system. Similarly, there could be many apps in each virtual machine. So Hypervisor is a virtual machine manager. We will be using Hypervisor in this tutorial. We're going to be using VirtualBox, but Hypervisor is another good one. So in these virtual machines, you could see there's a operating system, which is probably going to be different than the operating system of your host machine. And then you have these apps, which are your containers. These virtual machines are hosted through the program Hypervisor on the host machine with a host operating system. The three most popular operating systems used today are Mac, Windows, and Linux. To compare them, Mac is focused around user experience, which makes it very intuitive, but doesn't give the user much control. Windows is mostly focused on user experience and gives the user some control, but not all control. However, Linux is solely focused on user control. It makes up most servers, and the user interface is highly customizable. This is through different distributions where people can modify the code and customize the Linux operating system to fit their needs. Some examples are Debian, Ubuntu, and Kali Linux. So for this tutorial, we're going to be using Linux. Linux is used by many hackers because it provides user freedom and it's centered around security. This makes Linux the least vulnerable operating system out of the three popular operating systems. Additionally, adding on to user freedom, Linux source code is open source, which means it could be accessed and changed by anyone. This creates opportunity for people to modify the operating system to fit their own needs and provide as many hacking tools as they want. To start making virtual machines, you want to download VirtualBox. VirtualBox is a virtual machine manager, and it hosts all the virtual machines from software. So this website will be linked down below. You go to whatever host you're running. For example, for me it's Windows host. Click it, and then you'll see the download below. And then once it's done, you open it, open when done, and then you follow the prompts to finish the installation. After you finish downloading VirtualBox, you want to download a virtual machine to go into VirtualBox. So in this case, we're going to download Kali Linux because it provides many hacking tools. So this link will be down in the description as well. So you want to go to virtual machines and then download under VirtualBox. So once you finish downloading VirtualBox and Kali Linux, this is what your VirtualBox manager should look like. So for me, I have all these previously installed machines, but for you, this side would be empty. So in order to import your Kali Linux machine, you want to go to File, Import Appliance, and then select the file you want to upload. So in this case, downloads and Kali Linux, and then click Next, Import, Agree. So this should take a while. I'll cut to when it finishes. Once you finish importing your virtual machine, it should look something like this. So after you install Kali Linux, it's always good practice to take a snapshot. What a snapshot is a backup for your virtual machines, so you can always restore to the clean install working state. So in order to do this, you press take, and then you could title this clean install, and then press enter. And in order to run this machine, you make sure it's selected and press start. So once you started your Kali Linux machine, it should look like this as the login page. The login is Kali and the password is Kali as well. So once it starts, this is what your virtual machine should look like. Give it a second. Yep, this is how it looks like. So it's like any other virtual machine. You have your file system and you could open the terminal. We'll do more with these things later, but for now, this is the installation for Kali Linux. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful.